What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This your boy NC coming at you with another what they could have done better video, and this time we're going to talk about the 2017 Mummy reboot. Now, there were so many high expectations for this film as far as it establishing the Dark Universe series of movies that are coming out, and safe to say that the movie wasn't that good. So in this, we're going to go ahead and talk about things that could have made this movie better potentially. So without further ado, let's get on into it. Now, I am a Tom Cruise fan. I think the guy's awesome, especially with all the stunts and the action-based movies he does, especially considering his age. And I love the fact that he does his own stunts. And in the last couple of years, he's come out with some pretty awesome movies. But to make this movie better, he should not have been in it at all. Because instead of it feeling like a Mummy movie, it felt like a Tom Cruise movie. It felt like a Mission Impossible mixed with Jack Reacher a little bit, and then they threw in a little bit of the Mummy into it, and I'm like, that is what killed the movie, unfortunately. Because the movie does feel like it does not know what it wants to be. If it wants to be an action, comedy, horror, drama, sci-fi-ish a little bit even. And I think if they would just focus on maybe 2 or 3 genres instead of all of this, it could have been made for a more compelling movie. As I've said, Tom Cruise probably was the biggest problem with this movie. And as great an actor as he is, it just felt like too much of a Tom Cruise movie. One thing they should have did to kind of alleviate this is have Tom Cruise play a supporting role rather than an actual be the main lead. Russell Crowe's in this movie, and he does a great job as a supporting actor. He even gives a pretty cool performance as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So Tom Cruise, I see no reason for him to be in the lead character in this movie. I would have liked to have seen Jake Johnson be the actual lead of a really big budget movie, which he hasn't done. I mean, he's the funny guy from The New Girl. So it'd be nice to, even though he is usually is good with comedy, it'd be nice for him to be, in a more action-oriented role. So as far as Jake Johnson is concerned, I think his character was terribly underutilized. I wrote that in my review of the movie on naricchase.com. So this goes into more detail about what was done wrong with the movie. But as I said, I would have liked to seen Jake Johnson's character be fleshed out a little bit more. I did like Jennifer Halsey's character. Jennifer Hawes. I thought she was an interesting character, and as far as a main lead, I think she did a great job. I would have liked to see more about her character. And again, that's why I say Tom Cruise's character does take away from pretty much every other character in this movie. But Jennifer Halsey was an interesting character. She's this archeologist that's a part of this organization that hunts monsters, which you end up finding out. And I think her character would have been a lot better if she was a bit more fleshed out. Maybe potentially had some kind of kinship or interest with Princess Amunet that kind of helps drive the movie. And in fact, I would go as far as to say possibly would be the reason why everything is going on. Which is why I said, again, it'd be nice to see Jake Johnson's character as well as Annabelle Walsh's character, and have them two actually kind of go the course of the movie. Another thing is it could have had a better script, because things happen in the movie that does not make any sense. Jake Johnson's character, who is Corporal Chris Vale, ends up getting bit by this big ass spider. And even though they say in the movie that it's a harmless bite, the dude's obviously like mutating, and nobody questions it. He's over here groaning. He's becoming pale and discolored. You can see one of his eyes is like it's starting to turn milky white. You can see his veins and stuff. Guy looks dead. And nobody out of everybody that was involved even remotely questioned it. So like parts like that. There's this part where his soul is still there, and I don't mind that. His soul is still kind of haunting Nick Morton, which is Tom Cruise's character. It's kind of haunting him, trying to guide him, I guess you could say. But it provides comedy that isn't necessary. Although there is exposition, which I thought was great, and I would have liked it to have been more of, instead of him actually being something of a specter or a ghost, have him be something that's in Nick's head, being maybe a conscious, something about his conscious, as well as this curse that's manifesting it, which I guess you could say was pretty much it anyway. But but one of the biggest issues next to that, which could have made this movie leagues better, is it's more exposition on Princess Almanac. The movie fails utterly at giving us a nice, likable character. I mean, she was cool. I would give her that. She's like literally, like for my top 10 bad guys of the year, she is going to be on that list. And I really enjoyed how cool her character was, how she commanded such presence, but she actually was kind of sexual about it. And I thought that was pretty cool, especially like stuff that she did, because when it came to the more horror-based elements of the character, she definitely fleshes it out. But they make her seem to be like quite a very evil woman, and that's one thing I did not like about it. They made it seem like she was power hungry, like she was just bloodthirsty of power. Now I understand that her father was telling her that her whole life she was going to be running the country, and then of course he ends up siring a son, and that could lead to something that led her to being the way she was. But I think the movie would have benefited a hell of a lot better had it been something a little bit more out of her control, like say maybe another pharaoh. The pharaoh is deciding to marry her off to somebody else to acquire power. Now that I could understand a bit more, because she's in a she's more or less in a situation where she's being forced to do something against her will, which I could have been behind that more than her being like, okay, I have a little brother, this bastard's going to take the throne, so I'm going to have to kill him and kill my dad. So you know what I mean? Also, I show her relationship with the people, so that way you can kind of see where her mindset is about coming to power, because it seems like she's good when she's being trained up to this moment, but then when her power is basically given to another, she just straight turned evil. She didn't conspire with other people to get rid of this little mug. She didn't try to poison them. She literally just went straight to set and was like, I give you my soul, or whatever the deal was, just give me the power to kill these. And I'm like, why? You see what I mean? Like, that is a bit extreme. That's why I'm like, if you're gonna do something like this, you're gonna make this if you're gonna make this character believable, have better motivation and have a better process, because she literally went from 0 to 100. I mean, how? And then the thing about the process of summoning Set was so easy, just like did it. And I'm like, no, you gotta have something behind that. Perhaps travel to a place like in the movie Dracula Untold, when he went to that cave to acquire the power, but he had to, talk this creature out of killing him and giving him this power. So like that, I would have liked a little bit of something like that to go on about it. But like I said, I was interested in the character, but there's literally no exposition. Also, with some of the editing that really should have been worked on a hell of a lot better. Russell Crowe walks into the scene at the very beginning of the movie, gives the whole exposition for Princess Almanac, which takes the mystery out of the character for the rest of the movie. Terrible, terrible, terrible in the script. Don't care what nobody says. And when Nick is going through this transformation, when he's seeing these visions, it's so poorly executed. You see all of these all these images that you've seen over and over again, and there's like flashy flashes, like flash, like image. I'm like, no. And then what was one image that stood out that I wish shouldn't have been in the movie? When he first shoots the rope and it starts to lift her up, or when he gets in that area where she's being held captive, he has a vision of her, and I'm like, have the vision after she gets free. Why is the vision happening now? Makes more sense. And you get to see her, and she doesn't talk or tell him anything like that. But I'm like, shouldn't all of this happen like after she's free? So there was that. There is that, and the whole organization idea I did like. I thought it was great. You got a lot of throwbacks to some of the original horror monsters, as well as a little Easter egg throwing back to the original Mummy series in the 1990s, I believe 1999. So I did like that. I think it was somewhat underutilized, but for what it was actually pretty cool, especially when the methods they used to contain her. Which again, that part of the movie was really good. It was really good. Would have liked to see perhaps other creatures here and there. I mean, you've seen little samples of them, but I'd like to see maybe one or two other creatures, but potentially like the creature with the Black Lagoon or something like that, or maybe the Bride of Frankenstein, or a zombie, or something, or a vampire, or something. This is another part of the movie that kind of pissed me off, and again further emphasized the whole Tom Cruise movie trope. There is one instance where Dr. Jekyll turns into Mr. Hyde, and there's this fight sequence between him and Nick Morton, and they show everybody's scared of the Mr. Hyde persona, because they say he's like, because when he transforms, they put the place like on lockdown, and unfortunately Nick ends up getting stuck in a room with him. And I'm not gonna lie, Russell Crowe as the Mr. Hyde was great. I love the Cockney accent. I love the design. It wasn't too over the top, and he even had like super strength, and I thought that was pretty cool. The problem with this sequence is Nick was able to actually fight him, and I was like, no, there was no reason for that. If you want him to be a more likable and relatable character, have it to where this guy is like running for his life. That would have worked out a hell of a lot better. But instead, Tom Cruise is just fighting this guy, and it's like, well, Tom Cruise can fight this guy. Anybody can fight this guy. And like that's the problem. Like the whole time, he doesn't feel like he's in danger, actual danger, And I'm like, okay, if Tom Cruise is fighting this guy, there's no reason for me to feel sorry for Cruise and identify with him, nor is there a reason for me to actually fear Mr. Hyde, because this man right here is able to fight him off. And I'm like, no, because you're putting too much into Cruise's character, and you're taking away from Hyde. And I did like how they introduced Hyde into it. It didn't feel like it was forced. And also the ending. I thought they were going to leave off with Almanac being captured or depowered or dethroned or something, but left alive, so that when everything jumps off in the Dark Monsters universe or whatever, she will be there. And unfortunately, the film does not take it in that way. And this is the part that kind of ticked me off, because again, it felt like a Tom Cruise movie, because Cruise becomes Set, and now he's off in the world trying to find himself. And I'm like, if Set take over your body, he's a pretty powerful guy, why is Nick in control? It should be Set right there. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Two, the movie's about Almanac. Why doesn't it end with Almanac? I mean, of course she gets beaten, but she didn't have to get, I don't know if she died per se, but it looked like she went back into her catatonic. I don't know. I honestly don't know if she's alive or dead, or she's hibernating again. I don't know. But the movie leaves off with Cruise and not her. And I would have liked to see her maybe depowered, maybe weakened, maybe captured, but still alive. And again, the whole Cruise aspect, that's the problem. This whole movie revolves around Tom Cruise, and I do not like that. Now, some of the comedy was freaking awesome. Like, it was one part where Almanac has Nick captured with these four other mummies holding him down, and she's like studying him, and I thought that was kind of humorous. And then before she can, and then she's like, I forgot what happened. She tries to stab him, but finds out that she can't stab him to turn him into set because the jewel is missing. So all of a sudden you hear the door close, and Jennifer walks into the room, and then like all of the mummies, Almanac and Tom Cruise, like all look at her at the exact same time, and that was really funny. And also, I would have liked to see more Almanac. Almanac does not get the screen time she deserves, and that's another problem of the film. They should have gave her more screen time, because for her to be as evil as they say, you don't really too much see it in the movie. Really, the only time she's like, okay, she's evil is when she's killing people, but she's kissing them and regenerating herself, but draining them. That was like the most evil you see of her in the movie. Sure, you got the sequence where she goes to that cave to go get the jewel, the one with the knights and stuff. But you don't see her actually kill the guards there. You see her summoning these mummies, and they kill everybody that's in there. And also the sequence where she summons the huge sandstorm, which I thought was really cool too, but they didn't do enough with it. They did not show her being much of enough of a badass, and that was another issue with the movie. But this movie could have done a hell of a lot better, if they would have taken Cruise off the project, because this is another instance where you try to put A1 celebrities into these movies, and they harm it more than help it. They should have took Cruise off, make him a potential supporting actor, made Jake Johnson the main lead, as well as Jennifer Halsey. Give them enough interesting backstory together, not just Nick slept with her and then took her stuff and then she's trying to get it back. No, that was stupid. That's not enough exposition to make us care about the relationship between these two characters. Although it does grow throughout the movie. But, it had good horror in it. Give it to it. Tweak it down on the action. Give us more Almanac, her motivation, her backstory, how badass of a character she is, as well as, do better with the script and the visions and stuff. Because, like I said, Russell Crowe was cool, but there was no reason for him to tell the story of Almanac at the beginning of the movie. That should have been something that was generally revealed throughout perhaps the visions, or possibly Halsey or Crow talking about it throughout the movie. Like, I would have liked that even better, but to say it all in like the beginning of the movie was stupid. But that's all I have to say about this video. I did like the movie, but I thought it was still trash. I found it entertaining and interesting, although they could have did a hell of a lot better with it. But anyways, guys, in the comments section below, let me know, what did you think about The Mummy? Did you think it was a decent movie? Did you think it was all right? What other points in the comment section below could have made this movie better? Because this series of videos is what they could have done better, and I want to know what they could have, and I'm trying to discuss what they could have done better with this movie. Do you primarily think Cruise was the problem with the movie? Do you think it was the lack of Almanac? Do you think it was the script, the direction, too much action, too much humor, not enough actual exposition about the whole Egyptian mythology, which they did start in a new direction, in a good direction, but didn't go anywhere with it? As well as, should they have done something a little bit more with this secret organization that's hunting mutant monsters, as well as the Dr. Hyde and Mr. Jekyll? Anyways, guys, hit the like, share, subscribe, notification button to get the best of what's going on here on the Narik Chase channel, and I get to catch you guys later. Narik Chase, signing out.